going to be, I believe, that would be the basement.
Lockers is where we're going to go.
Yeah, that's the basement.
And not too strange there. Right away, a couple changes. We see a Capitao come out, so they will not be running a Ying or a Thermite or an Ash. So you see you can Capitao, Blackbeard, Buck, and Thatcher are all currently being played, and none of them in the top 5. So already we see a change, and actually this is not going to be basement, it's going to be on the main floor, so they're going to go to Tellers.
Okay.
Our apologies there. Sometimes
Archives, I think.
or Archives, rather, and
Yeah.
Tellers in front.
That's all right. But now we know. Interesting that we're going to be seeing a setup here from Fontt that includes the cafeteria. You can see that they're going to be opening up the wall into a small office, and then a rotation from small office into cafeteria itself, so that they can utilize that as more rotation ground for roamers and just in general control. Now, of course, the thing this leaves them open to is then if the attackers take control over open area and cafeteria, then they have that same rotation to utilize to just waltz into the bomb site. But I would say that most teams on defense argue for more options in this meta instead of restricting themselves to home arrest inside the actual sites.
Right, and one thing very interesting too is that when Elevate faced the Latin America team in Gamescom, which I believe they played BRK, if I remember correctly, in the second round after they dispatched, was it Ents? And Elevate played a very cafeteria steady hold to counter the aggression of the team. And it's something that I think it's interesting to note that we now see the exact same thing coming out, just in reverse from Latin America itself, because as we've said many, many times, I'm sure will get repeated, is how aggressive they can be on attack and especially on defense.
You know what's interesting though, is like, I mean, we talked about how aggressive they could be. They used to be so much more.
Absolutely.
Like, they used to be just like constant, you know, and they've made some amazing adjustments since then, since that old meta. I mean, just as like one note, for example, is like Pain. They are I think one of the last teams to really make that adjustment,
right.
like very recently. But it has been a tremendous adjustment for them, of something really that makes them a totally new team in this Pro League. And I like that they still retain their identity, though, because it really has been. It's every time I see a Latin American teams play against each other, it's something new, it's something fresh, and it's always exciting to see it. Gohan going to be taking out the drones over by the main lobby. Now, this is going to be an interesting match here, as NoX is already taking control over the top floor. He actually, excuse me, as Seo drops down in the main lobby, Astro's going to take him out, and he's getting very aggressive on the attackers upstairs. He's not giving them any ground. I was saying at the beginning there that the attackers are already taking that top floor control, but Astro's just like, no, and unfortunately the Buck in GZN is going to completely ignore Astro's presence, and Astro, as we know from Astro, is going to be playing his own game, putting his team in a great spot early in this round. And I think, yeah, anyway, I was trying to highlight there is we weren't seeing any top 4 control or presence from Fontt on an Archives defense. That is unheard of on Bank. You need to have some sort of a semblance of presence upstairs. And here you can see it was just a planned retake from Fontt as Gohan and Astro both coordinate to take out this Capitao. It will be a refrag from Gohan. And that's the important thing, because that maintains such a drastic man advantage. Mav with another kill onto Hugzord, and now it's all down to King, all the way outside at the front door with only 22 seconds left to go. This round has been blazing by seemingly, and yet it's all come down to the last 15 seconds now as the time ticks away. Moringa going to be challenging onto M King. Going to hit that shield, but unfortunately not enough bullets to get the kill. Gohan challenging from the elevators will be eliminated, but ultimately it doesn't matter. There is no way for King to win this round. Moringa challenging, breaking the shield, and it's all over. That's all she wrote. So the first round goes for Fontt. And again, it really is kind of an interesting thing, because NoX, despite not really having to deal with any presence upstairs, took their time. They were very slow getting up into the CEO office to start to use that vertical control. And once they had it, Fontt was like, okay, well, this is it. We were waiting for this, and retake. We'll go upstairs. We will get the kills. And a lot of that is really honestly attributed specifically to Astro.
A slightly unconventional roam game, the way that they were able to roam on the main floor as well as upstairs. I think it just caught NoX off guard, and I think a big miscue was that the Buck of GZN was not really able to see where Astro was. And because of that, Astro was able to run uncontested upstairs.
Now, I can't remember if it was I think it was Rogue. I want to say it was Rogue at the last finals. The last, no, it was Elevate. That's what it was. It was Elevate. So the last time we saw Elevate play, or at the last final specifically, what we were seeing from them, I believe, was very heavy roam presence on the basement. That's what they were doing on maps like Bank, for example. And what they would do is they would have all their guys downstairs in the basement so that when the attackers started to take from the top floor, which is oh so very common, right? That's what most people do in this current meta, is attackers are establish control over the top floor on any map,
right,
and above the bomb site, and then they'll use the vertical control, and then move from there. So as soon as the attackers had done that, they would then start their retake. They would start do exactly what we just saw Team Fontt do. So that's a little bit of incorporation that I'm seeing here, and that's really awesome to see. I also like the way that they were handling it, as Fontt is another one of those teams from the Latin American regions, like BRK, for example, who's notorious for hunting down those roamers. If you can emphasize the roam gain in a way that is counter to that strat that you're used to seeing in your own region, then that's a nice little twist on things. Now, Fontt setting themselves up to attack here. NoX actually going to be holding upstairs this round.
And overall, just touching very briefly on the previous round, I was impressed with how well they were able to hold. Didn't even really need the site presence from them, and we'll see if they're able to apply that pressure and do a much better job of getting those roamers down. Now, the mute jammers are going to cause them a bit of a headache. As they do some light intel work to try to establish exactly where they're going to push from, you can see Moringa poised from above. And unsurprising, seeing Twitch used as prominently already, as Astro's going to get inside of the building, especially upstairs, just under that skylight stairwell, and push down to make sure that nobody is on those stairs. A bit of a drone escort from Mav as his Claymore goes down, and he can look in towards the site now. Don't think he saw Lifezord there, and Fontt is able to get inside the building. A minute and a half done in the round, still no contact with any roamers. So right now, it does look like there's some patience from NoX, as wow, what a shot from M King onto Astro. And he looked for a second onto Gohan before retreating just behind that Printer. But Mav is able to get the slightly delayed refrag to put us at a 4v4. Gohan's going to get another frag for his team. And Gohan's first on the round, and Gohan gets a second, a nice play on Nasea. And now Moringa adds to that too. It's another 4v1 as GZN off-site needs to come in with the diffuser going off. Fontt looking unparalleled right now. Cameraman gets that one. And wow, Fontt is a strong start so far.
A completely one-sided attack there. Just came from the square stairs skylight. It just no real direct challenge coming out from NoX Gaming, unfortunately. There wasn't an emphasis placed on vertical control from Team Fontt. They saw the setup up in CEO, and they're like, let's not deal with that. They kind of just walked into Archives. Got to be honest there wasn't much else involved in that strategy. And it worked out great for them because there wasn't enough direct line from NoX all the way inside of Archives ready to deal with that. They were expecting the presence, the pressure upstairs, and Fontt obviously was conscious of this. Fontt was like, oh, okay. You're expecting presence upstairs because that's the current meta, because that's what everyone does. They'll put 2 or 3 roamers up on the top 4 who will fall back slowly as the top 4 gets pressured. We'll just do what we talked about before the match even started. Read that, see there's 2 people on the site, and waltz into the site. And that's what they did. It worked out great for them. Now, moving on to the basement. This is the first time we've seen the basement hold. Do you think that this is going to be where NoX can start to bring it back?
If the past 2 rounds are any indication, no. I mean, on defense, essentially what happened with Fontt was that Astro was too strong. They didn't make enough of a good coordinated push to flush him out and be able to get him. Like I said, GZN in round number 1 just kind of ignored him. But for me, on defense, NoX's roam game was almost non-existent. They didn't, like you said, they didn't put any pressure on. It was very absent and delayed.
It was present. It just didn't do anything. It was all the way up on the top floor, and it didn't actually accomplish anything ultimately. I think
Right.
this was the problem. It was, so you're right. It needed to actually influence the round in some way.
And it didn't. And there was no real impact there from them. And essentially all it did was, until they had to try to reestablish control of that site after you saw Fontt get in, NoX basically put themselves at a 5v3 or a 3v5 rather on site, and that's an issue here. Now, you can already see that NoX is doing a much more sufficient job at flushing these roamers out of their cover. And because of this, it's going to give them a more of a fighting chance to try and take care of Fontt in this round and not find themselves down into 3-0 hole. And it looked like they were able to see Astro sitting inside of that just by Staff Cafeteria in the open area, and we're looking to try and get them, but now they've already backed off.
The fact that they didn't actually secure that kill onto Astro is really bad for them in this round. Like, that's pretty terrible. There was some great potential for coordination to get that kill. If you had stuck the, for example, if you stick the Habana like right next to the drop down, you have the Buck open the drop down, and then immediately the Habana shooting Astro, and that's a free kill. So that lack of coordination is a little bit devastating here at the beginning of this round. I say the beginning, half of the round has already progressed, and NoX only just now has control over open area, and now can start opening up those drop downs, and yet still we have Astro and Gohan both doing their very typical roam duo. And another thing that's really cool about these two guys is, like, Astro used to be playing Ella. On their first defense, he was playing Ella, and now it's Gohan playing Ella. And it's just like it's another testament to the handshake that these two players have. They remind me a lot of Laxing and Skies from North America. They really, you know, they very much appreciate each other as players, and they communicate a lot, they coordinate a lot, and on their roam game, they're very, very deadly. So the fact that NoX has as of yet to deal with that roam game is honestly probably going to really hurt them in this round with only 45 seconds.
Right, and as we inch towards the end of the round, they still haven't been able to make up that ground that they needed to make up in round number 1 to try and take the roam game down. They're now going to start their assault, and a bit of a miscue as Mr. King, or as M. King rather, stepped in front. Astro is going to be able to secure a kill on the Light Zord, and now is going to go for a second on the Hug Zord, and he himself pays with his life as M. King goes down, but Gohan refrags onto GZN, and NoX falling apart at the seams as it's just Seiya and M. King left against 4 members with 15 seconds. Marengo will detonate one of those beauties, and the Blackbeard is going to have to try to find an alternate angle. Just simply running out of time. Mav cleans up on Seiya, and M. King once again left alive, but time is going to run out, and Fontt with 4 still alive. What a game for them so far.
Okay, well, there was 0 roam clear, like 0 roam clear from NoX on that round. We're talking about Bank, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Bank is a pain. It's a pain to deal with those roamers and clear them out. It's a huge map as compared to a lot of others. But you still have to perform that function. It is essential, especially when attacking a basement. It's not an option. You can't choose to not do it. There's no, oh, we'll contain them. We'll avoid the roamers. That's not a thing. There's so many opportunities for the roamers to influence your attack no matter where you're coming from. The most contained basement attack that I know of, there's 2 of them, okay? Rushing in through main lobby, into the main lobby, drop down by tellers. That's like, okay, that's like a complete blitz, like Zerg rush, right? It's usually not a really favorable strategy, but it does in theory avoid roamers to an extent. And then the other strategy is going to be the coming in from the servers. But even that one, the roamers can still influence your push very easily from just opening the drop down above the servers. It's not really difficult. And NoX just didn't put any emphasis on that. They were like, okay, we'll just ignore this. Yeah, Gohan and Astro, 2 of the most prominent roamers in the entire Latin American region. We're just like, yeah, no, we'll wait for them to start pushing on us from behind. Especially, they opened up the drop downs above their own push and then left control of that.
Puzzling for me, and it looked like the thought process for NoX was like they found where Astro was, and then we're just like, we'll be fine. Just leave them. And it's like you're not going to be fine when you've got one of the most prominent roamers, not just in Latin America, but I would contend one of the best roamers right now on the scene.
And then also just the duo between
of course, because even if you get one, you've still got the other, and it's like you can't do that as a team and expect there to not be the kind of results that we've seen so far. And with Fontt up 3-0, you see that M. King has the majority of kills for his team. But you're also in a situation now where Gohan and Astro both have 4 kills apiece. They've got 8 kills to, I believe, 5 for the entire rest of the team, and that's because you're ignoring the roam game. You cannot do that. Yeah. Yes, you're wasting time, but most importantly, they're able to secure those kills. If you're at least going to lose some time, you might as well try and trade or put yourself up by 1 in a situation like this. They just haven't. I'm not sure why that C4 was there, but Fontt finding it.
It's a pre-placed. I mean, they're trying to get somebody who's coming in at the top of the stairs through the balcony first, right? But that's not a good strategy because the attackers are going to drone it out before they push in. They're going to see, oh, well, let's just go on in through the electrical closet and shoot that C4 before we actually go in at the top. And It's just a couple little mistakes like that is really going to cost them. And here you can see this is coordination to roam clear. Hugzord being pressured by 2 different attackers. Gohan going to finally get the kill. I believe that was from CEO as he opened up the back of it. Yeah, no, he's being pressured by 2 attackers while 1 other attacker drones for his team. That's a roam clear there, ladies and gentlemen. And we need to see that from NoX when they're attacking. A little interesting tidbit. We do have a Lesion coming out from NoX, so that's slightly different, really not really inside the meta right now, as Lesion is arguably not that much of a, he's not all that useful. He doesn't bring any real utility to the team. You know, he slows down the attack, and I think that's just what NoX is relying on. They need something external, something to really be like, okay, well let's make this not be as, you know, completely like clear as it's happening, is continuing on to be in this round. Astro takes out Seiya, and now it's a 3-on-5, 42 seconds to go. I mean, this is a very efficient roam clear from Fontt, and I don't know, how do you think this collapse is going to go?
Well, they still have GZN on the roam, and they're going to get 2 immediate kills from Leibzord and M King. They need this to breathe life into their team. You still have Astro, Cameraman, and as I say that, Mav gets a kill as Cameraman goes down to GZN. And GZN is going to still be on the roam. Like I said, you've got M King on site, but they're going to need to push in now as time is running out. 15 seconds, Mav will tussle with the Lesion of M King, and he's going to go around, and what is Mav doing? Not even looking, but Astro with a good shot, and now it's up to GZN to try to get on site. He's going to have to in a hurry. 5 seconds to go, and you can see Diffuse going down in the background. Likely cover from Astro as Astro looks for kill number 3, and it looks like we're going to be going to match point. As GZN peeks around that corner, a good flick shot, but doesn't get enough as it gets eaten by those Archives bookshelves, or shelving units rather. And he has just a sliver of health, tries the jiggle peek, but no, Astro with the Magnum kill takes it.
See this.
And oh my word, we are at 4-0 already.
That's just so typical Astro. Nice shot there from Astro, but good coordination and clear from Fontt in general. Could have been the first NoX round. It could have been,
right,
if they hadn't lost 2 people in the first minute of the round to the roam clear. That it would have been really nice. Now this I like. Got to say props to NoX here, picking that Jackal, actually prioritizing the roam clear, as that they're reading, they're recognizing. Okay, what's our biggest mistake? We're not doing anything about the roamers. Let's bring the one operator who is like, that's his entire role. It's his whole job. All of his utility based around clearing out those operators. Let's bring him to the field. Let's field that. That makes sense.
Right, and they've also had no distractions there. They've run a very little amount of smokes. They really haven't been using their flashbangs to the best of their ability either, and you're not really giving yourself an opportunity to win these fights when you're not having anybody watch that anti-flank. And I mean, for you, look at Astro, 7 kills. Look at Gohan, 5 kills. And these are primarily their roamers and their entry fraggers doing their job very well, but they have a combined 5 deaths between them. That's a problem for NoX.
Yeah. Another thing is, like, in general, for both teams, we actually haven't seen much utility-based takes at all.
No, this is just them taking gunfights, like you said.
Yeah, everyone's taking gunfights, and that's all right. That works, but it's clearly working right now more for Fontt, as they're the team that is just going to be winning those gunfights, it seems. So NoX needs to really throw a curveball here. They need to bring something different. Maybe a smoke strategy. We're dealing with an Archives hold, right? So you can come in through the main lobby. You can establish control over that main lobby, deny all roamers through that main lobby. It's not that difficult. It's actually really easy to do. And then once you've done that, you can use maybe some smokes, which Jackal might have, to just, you know, cover one of the entryways into the into reception and then get that diffuse plant instead of trying to take fights with Fontt all the time. Or they could prioritize the roam hunting, which I really hope they're going to do here. I mean, you think if they clear out those roamers, they're going to have an actual chance of, you know, getting the diffuse plant later into the round as they get the first roam kill of this round?
They're able to pick off the support of Mav. That's the Valkyrie down. Her gadgets are still going to be able to be used by Fontt, and now you've actually got, on the plus side, somebody dedicated to doing camera work for you. But yes, and they still have to shake out Gohan and Astro, but you can see Gohan is now playing smoke, so he's going to be an anchor player, and that's going to leave Astro a lot more room to maneuver on his own, which could be a downside.
So the question for me, though, is once you clear those roamers out for NoX, do you think that they're going to have enough manpower? Do you think they're going to have enough teeth to really bite through the actual anchors, because we've actually not seen them get to the anchor phase yet of any of their attacks. Do you think that's going to be possible for them moving forward?
I mean, you saw that Cameraman and Moringa are still able to get frags in previous matches. They're doing the same here. Some great roam clearing, and what a shot from Hugzord as Astro goes down. And we talked about roam clear, and my, it looks a lot better this time around thanks to an operator whose utility they are using to their advantage. And for me, it's 5v3. You're the defense of Fontt. The push is coming in.
Well, look at that angle.
How do you hold this?
I mean, they've got the angles to do it. You can see Moringa, his position here in Cafeteria. I really like what he's doing with the mirror windows. We've seen this a couple times from the Latin American region. It's not as prominent, but this setup on Archives is really kind of, if anything, innovative. Now, whether or not it's actually going to be successful here is a big question mark, though, as NoX has already established the dominance that they need in this round to win it. It's not going to be, as long as they just trade each other from here on out, they win the round. It's not a daunting task for NoX anymore, as every other round has been. But King going to get another kill for NoX onto Gohan. It's going to be 2-on-5 now, and it's looking worse and worse for Fontt. But I don't know if that's going to matter much in the long run. However, the diffuser does get down. There's only 25 seconds left to go as Moringa finishes off GZN with a little bit of BM on that C4. It is going to be 20 seconds, diffuser down. He just needs to hold this against Lifezord right now. That's all he has to do, and he has Cameraman above. Cameraman's going to take out Lifezord from above. And now Saya's going to have to rush along with Hugzord onto these mirror windows. Unfortunately, Moringa missing the shots, but the diffuser's still down, and Cameraman from above, he's going to be able to deny this outright. He will get the kill on the King, and that's it! A huge mistake made there by NoX, letting a lone player carry the diffuser, challenging 2 mirror windows, get himself killed, and with only a couple seconds left in the round, that's all she wrote. It's over.
That was a round that I don't think, except for that one mistake, you had diffuser off-site playing as almost. It seemed like GZN was working as an entry fragger as Sledge, and that is a huge mistake. When you let your diffuse plant operator be that far away from everything, that's an issue. And we saw there it came back to bite them, and now a 5-0, and Nox looked good in their match 2 weeks ago. And now Fontt just looking better. It looks like a totally different game. And you see this when you have a team that is as practiced and as proven as Fontt is, it's no surprise. And I'm struggling to see what Nox is capable of doing. They seem to find it with the Jackal pick, like you said, and they got the best use out of him. But then when it came time to the site, Jackal's not as useful on site because they weren't roaming. And then you need to try to figure out how are you going to attack the strategy. Yes, they took the smoke down, but Cameraman was just able to hold it out and clutch the round for them.
They had, all it comes down to on that last round was they had it, and they let it slip away because they had one person by himself. By the way, yeah, but anyway, they had one person by themselves all the way over an open area challenging one of the last 2 defenders, and then the other defender was above, ended up killing another person who was trying to reciprocate and get that refrag on the attacking team, and then too little too late they realized, oh, wait a minute, the diffuser's down, and there's only 20 seconds on the clock, and the last 2 defenders are holding the diffuser waiting for us to come to them. So that's why we have the bomb site, and we're not doing anything with it. And it was, I think there's got to be a lack of communication or something going on there, a lot of lack of coordination. Despite those early kills, it really just wasn't enough. And I really hope that that's going to change for Oregon. Oregon's a much easier map to clear out the roam game on, so I think it will be a little bit more of an alleviation for NoX moving forward. I am expecting to see from both NoX and Fontt probably, though, a heavy focus on that roam game when they're on defense for both of them. We'll likely see some west side roams, maybe utilizing some mirror windows and big kid storms like we talked about before, and that'll give them a little bit more presence. The question will be will NoX be able to handle that? Will they simply go somewhere else? It's gonna continue to, like, you know, snowball on the roam game for both of these teams, because ultimately NoX lost all of their attacks to Fontt's roam game except for that last one, which was just to a mistake. They lost all of their defenses to Fontt avoiding the roam game and walking into the bomb site, as NoX put too much emphasis on their roam game. So I don't know. It just seems like a misplaced focus from NoX, and I think moving forward, they're definitely gonna read that on that last match. They're gonna be like, okay, clearly we know what we're doing here. Moving on to Oregon, they'll likely make the adjustments that are necessary. That's what I think. What do you think?
I think that the reason why you're going to try to see a stronger roam game than we just saw on Bank is the fact that once you concede that floor of Oregon and you allow them to start in closing in on the basement, that spells trouble for every single team. There has not been a significant answer, and we'll take a look now as we do head to Oregon for match number 2, but continue to talk about how we think it's going to play out, at least on our end. Fontt took Bank as map number 1 by a score of 5-0 in a pretty convincing performance, and now their map is up, which is worrisome for NoX. We'll head to map number 2 on Oregon. But what I was going to say is the reason why I think we're going to see such a significance on the roam game is because of the fact that if you do not have the ability to stop them from taking that front main lobby hatch, it spells disaster for the defenders. And now we have them going upstairs. Fontt is going to start on the site that I wonder if NoX is prepared for it. We have not seen Ying be as successful, but they are going to roll her out, and we're going to see how they're able to attack the second floor of Oregon.
So, with this particular bomb site, usually what you'll see happen for the roam game is we'll have a couple of defenders that will go down into the kitchen, will play by the meeting hall, they'll have a rotation between the two, and they will place 2 to 3 just hard anchors. Maybe one of those anchors stretching themselves over into the attic to support the meeting hall roamers, and then also sort of kind of at the same time support the anchors themselves by cutting off that east side push. How is Fontt going to set themselves up? They have put down the very typical mirror window facing towards the main west window. Seemingly, they are placing a lot of emphasis on the roam game inside the kitchen. I think that's where the second mirror is going to be going, and they are going to have Astro roam down in the basement. So this stands to reason. This reminds me of the Bank game, where they had so many roamers and such an emphasis on those roamers. They're going to be doing that yet again. So then the question then becomes, from there, what is NoX going to do to handle that? Like, how are they going to deal with this? Oh, I like that angle by GZN, by the way. We've seen that used a couple times, usually to deal with the off chance of a team defending the kitchen, but that aside. How is NoX going to deal with the roam game?
I am going to struggle to say that hopefully better than they did in the first match. And they're going to need to try to attack from multiple angles. And right now, a minute, and they're still trying to figure out where to go into the building. I think that's because they haven't determined exactly where Fontt is situated right now. It doesn't appear that they've put a lot of members of their team into meeting hall, which means that there's probably one in basement, which you could see. NoX has been able to take control of the armory or arsenal room upstairs. They'll pick away at that master bedroom to try and dislodge anybody up there. You can see that the smoke of Moringa was playing closet and will now have to try to move as well. And once again, they're not really pressuring the roamers. I think they're going to say, let's just take straight to the site, which hasn't really worked so well for them in the past.
I mean, arguably this map is a lot easier to contain those roamers and avoid them. But on Bank, it's very difficult to do that. So while it hasn't worked for them well in the past for this match, I mean, it could work here. I don't know, like, I think that it's going to be a bit of a mixed result considering how forceful Fontt has been with their roam game. Like, we've got Astro over in the big tower. He's going to deny anything that comes over on the north side. Like, if Habana gets off the top of tower and starts to want to pressure onto the north windows to B bomb site, then he's going to be taken out by Astro from behind because there's only 1 minute left and NoX has no presence inside tower. There's not enough time to clear out that roam game from Astro. And that aside, they're placing a lot of emphasis on this east side right now coming from the Armory Master.
Right, Smoke is going to deny a push in from NoX, but no rotation really needed right now. They do have Cameraman downstairs, likely willing to play with that Nitro Cell. Gohan is going to try to peek around the doorway from Kidstorms as we see some smokes going down. And now I think the Candela strat is really going to be in effect. Astro still lurks, though, and is going to try to put some pressure through that attic wall. The issue right now is the diffuser goes down. Seiya's going to get a kill on Astro, so that's 1 roamer down. And oh my, they're probably going to get this diffuser off as M-King takes out Camera. And yes, indeed, that's it. Diffuser goes down. Moringa gets the first kill. It's still a 3v4. Now Gohan's going to add to the body count by taking out GZN. You can see they're going to try to scramble to get back on site. Mav, a good retake so far from Fontt, but a refrag from Hugzord before he goes down to Mav. And this Valkyrie doing some significant work. Leipzord is just going to try to wait. He's going to pick away at that window where Mav hides. And they're going to have to try to push up onto that diffuser. Moringa with a sliver of health might be the decoy that they need. Leipzord comes in. He gets torn apart. Mav, a huge round. And Fontt, despite losing the first 2 members of their team to a good push from NoX, they persevere and they take it. They're up 1-0.
Not a single round lost so far in this match, and I hasten to wonder, are we going to see a 10-0? See, the thing is, that was, again, a perfect execution from NoX. It's the same thing as the last round we saw on the bank. And there was the one mistake on bank. In this instance, it was the one mistake of not having anyone deny the roam clear from below, or the roamers coming from below in the main lobby. They needed to have, I mean, I think they did actually have someone outside the front door, because that's how you do that. That's how you deny someone running up the main lobby stairs. You leave someone outside in the front door to stare at the main lobby stairs. And I think he just died to Mav. I think he just died to Valkyrie challenging from the front door. And that's the sort of fight that you're not supposed, it's such an easy fight to win. And as an attacker, you have the entire outside of the front door to challenge from any angle that you want. If you're losing that fight, it's really going to hurt your team a lot. And I think that's exactly what we see happen. As Mav came up from behind, he just started clearing out the attackers holding that defuse plant inside of Master. He got 2 of them after he got the initial frag. So it's you need to have someone covering your backs. Yes, you obviously play passive, you know, hold the diffuser, but you have to have someone deny that flank, or the flank's going to do what it just did, and it's going to cost you the round. And it's, again, one little mistake costing the round overall.
All right, and that was probably, I would say, probably the strongest round out of NoX that we've seen so far. They played their cards really right, but Fontt was just able to outfox them at the end. And Mav specifically played really well. They were able to take the 2 roamers down right away. You saw them fall one by one. But then the aggressive site play of Valkyrie was what went uncontested. And I don't think they were expecting a potential third to be lurking as well. Once they got Astro down, they felt they had a confidence in them to say, we've got the site. But they didn't expect another, and that's these changes that you can see be made. You've seen a lot of teams potentially run 3 roamers or 2 roamers and 1 aggressive site player that can play a little bit off-site. And that makes all the difference, especially when you lose control of the site, to have somebody there that's a strong fragger like Mav to be able to come in and get those kills.
And here you can see Fontt, pretty efficient roam clear so far. They are going to be contesting LifeSword at the top of those main lobby stairs. I don't think they're conscious of him. Nope, he's going to fall back. That's the smart play there from LifeSword. But, yeah, so from Fontt, a pretty efficient roam clear. They've already taken control of most of it, but they do have to deal with this Mute and King inside of the big kids' dorms. He's playing with those Mute jammers, going to deny any direct information to the attackers using the jammers, making sure that his exact position won't be given away, but they're conscious of it in general, and a nice shot from King. Onto Astro to start this roam out. Mav going to try to reciprocate, but he will not. Gohan will. As he runs in through the front door. Good coordination there for Fontt, challenging 2 attackers onto the 1 defender at the same time. There was 1 shield lost for Mav, though, and a lot of HP off of Gohan, so overall, a very successful roam from M. King, as well as the time being wasted, just a good job in general. Now, interesting thing here, and this has to be a mistake. I'm sorry, you don't pick a Legion instead of a Mira when we're talking about a basement hold. The unreinforced drop I can forgive, because there are plenty of teams that argue that it's not necessary to reinforce anymore. Every team on the attack has something to clear that out with. But in this instance even, Fontt, they've lost their Hibana. If you had reinforced all the drop downs, they would only be able to get 2 of them, because they only have a thermite, and most teams don't even bring a thermite on this attack. So if they had reinforced the drop down, that M-King roam would have been so much more useful, but they didn't, and now the drop down will be opened up almost free by Fontt. And again, this was what I was actually trying to touch on earlier, a Legion instead of a Mira, so there's no Mira window to help challenge this defuse plant, which is going down right now as the smoke has completely missed his gas grenade. And it looks like it's going to be the Ella. The Ella charge is actually going to stop Cameraman from doing, or actually getting the defuse down.
The second smoke was successful too.
Yeah. Moringa's going to get another kill onto Saya with 17 seconds left to go. This defuse plant needs to happen now. Mav's going to be there to challenge, but he's going to be unsuccessful as GZN takes out Cameraman. GZN will be refragged by Gohan from above. Only 2 defenders left, but only 5 seconds for the attackers. As LifeSword challenges another defuse plant, he will go down himself, but not enough time to get the defuse. Oh, it happens! Hugzord from above, though, has great position to get these last 2 kills. He's going to catch Mav off guard from behind, but Gohan, the last player alive on Fontt, going to be challenging from the main hallway. Good reposition there. He only has 1 HP. 22 bullets left in this magazine for Hugzord. He's going to fake it. Gohan looking to challenge, conscious of the flank, and he will be taken out. A nice clutch there from Hugzord, and the first round on the board for NoX Gaming. They needed that, ladies and gentlemen. Playing a very dynamic, fluid overall defense strat on that round, not relying on the typical Mira sort of like just draw a line in the sand and try to hold said line. They just kind of moved around. They were fluid with their play. And it worked out for them. It caught Fontt off guard a little bit, but it was still, oh so close. Gohan could have won that. He could have won that. You know, obviously he didn't. But it's still it's a big risk for NoX. And arguably you could say that it was the right risk to take. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I think a lot of credit to Leipsword goes there as well, as that Mav was just watching the wrong angle. Both he and Gohan appeared to be looking in the same direction, which was that hatch, which was just a miscue. You can't have two people down there watching both angles of that hatch, especially how exposed the Blackbeard is with his back to those stairs. And
yeah.
I mean, you left it in an opportunity where now Gohan needs to get that final kill with just a sliver of health, and with how quickly Ella's gun is able to fire and how accurate these players are. It really comes down to who lands the first shot. Yeah, the R4C of Ash is a formidable weapon, but in the right hands, Ella's almost unstoppable, and we can see there that Hugzord didn't need to do too much to get that kill.
That's another thing, too, is that was actually, that round, hopefully, straight up the Ella. I mean, sure, the second gas grenade did hit and was damaging the Thermite, but he was already like a quarter or halfway through his defuse plan. He could have stuck it if it weren't for the Ella, specifically the Ella. So, definitely a great job clutching out that round. I believe that was Hugzord. And thanks to him, they will be on the board finally. NoX will be on the board finally. But now they have to continue on, and we're gonna have Fox on defense. Fontt, excuse me, on Fox on defense. They're gonna be they've been having a much more success on their defenses than they have on their attacks overall, I would say. And as you can see, they are gonna be emphasizing that roam game a lot. King is gonna be bringing the Jackal. What the heck, Gohan? Okay, so what just happened there is as King. Gohan intentionally baited his footprints into lockers so that he knew when the Jackal detected him exactly where the Jackal would be. That is an excellent play there by Gohan. We've seen Jackal be baited by his ability before, but usually it's post being detected, right? So you'll get detected and you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna make sure the mark's here so that he'll try to challenge me here, and I'll be over there before the next mark and I'll kill him as he challenges. No. He actually baited with the footprints themselves. That is some next level positioning there from Gohan. I hope that was intentional. I have to imagine it was, as I don't see he had any reason to be inside of lockers at any point in that round. It's a good play there.
And now you found yourself without some of the smokes that you have of Jackal. A-okay, because what you need, but you still do have that ability from the Ying with both the Candelas as well as the smokes. But still, you're going to need to try to get on site. We are closing in on a minute right now.
And the strategy, the whole strategy is we're bringing that extra smokes. They need those extra smokes. Having 4 instead of 2, that's clearly why they're even bringing a Ying. I mean, the Latin American guy, when they commit to something, when they commit to attack strategies, they commit to them. I can see they've completely changed up, they seemingly have completely changed up their strategy now. Going into the red tower construction instead of prioritizing just the main lobby because, oh yeah, we don't have enough smokes.
And now 2 Candelas used as well that really did not get a lot of effect at all. And a nice C4 will take GZN down as Hugzord is going to try to revive his down teammate, but thinks against it just in case they get pushed. Now what this has done is it's made it so that the smoke that you've thrown is also much less effective. And another smoke is going to go out, and a big miss right now. A calamity of errors, or a comedy of mistakes now from NoX, as they've essentially smoked themselves out and made it a very formidable task and a difficult task for them to get back on site. Cameraman gets 1, Astro gets 1. Gohan goes down to Saya. Now Astro gets a second kill. It's 4v1, and Astro a third kill as Saya goes down, and Fontt regains their footing. This is the Fontt that we saw from map number 1 and in round number 1 as well, 2-1.
Just in general, some really tight play there from Fontt. I like the change from NoX. I appreciate that they were like, okay, we lost our Jackal, we don't have 4 smokes, let's not attack from the main lobby. Instead, let's just straight go around to the construction tower. That's, you know, that's an adjustment that's easy to make. We don't need full smoke utilization there for that. But the Ying, and I don't want to put everything on the Ying because it's not entirely Ying's fault. The Ying used 2 smokes and that accomplished 0 things, and 2 candelas that accomplished 0 things. And the 1 candela that was useful, that didn't actually end up blinding someone, wasn't like they didn't
blinded
use that
their own
fact.
teammates too.
It blinded their teammates. It also blinded the enemy. But while it was blinding the enemy, they didn't do anything about it. They weren't like, oh, he's blind. Well, let's go kill him. Let's take that position. So there's underutilization of utility, a lack of utility because of the loss of Jackal early on, and just in general, kind of just shoving themselves into these lanes without any direct way to give themselves the edge using their actual abilities. And that's always disheartening to see. I like that Ella there from Lifesword. That I can appreciate. I like that very specific position. And NoX, they're going to be setting themselves up here on this top 4 in a very typical way. We'll see if it works out for them.
One thing I wanted to add is we've only seen the Ying smoke Candela strategy on that rear stage back stairs push a couple times, and it has always been dramatically less successful than it had on the main hatch. And they still had the Hibana up too, so they could have potentially even put pressure on that front lobby to be able to get it off, but instead some serious mistakes end up costing them the round.
You'll actually notice this like the more that you start, like, because I noticed exactly what you're saying like a while back when I was watching a Oregon match after Oregon match after Oregon match. Just in general, coming from the tower and the construction and then forcing yourself into that, just those 2 hallways.
You get funneled.
Yeah, getting those funnels, even if you're not bringing those smokes and candelas, every single time a team does that instead of a main lobby attack, it's like 90% unsuccessful.
Right.
There's a 10% success rate for like the whole Pro League in general for every team. And yet there's still, it's strange how much emphasis is put on it. You have to imagine for everybody they're going into that, the reason they're doing it is that, yeah, it works well in strats. You know, it's working for, sorry, in scrims, it's working well in scrims, so we may as well try to implement it in Pro League. But it is hopefully completely, almost every time, less successful than it would be if it were just like, oh, let's take the main lobby drop down.
Unless you can apply pressure in the main lobby onto that hatch to prevent a full rotate from the team as you're only coming from 2 areas, or you see a construction rush, and as I say that, we are just about halfway through the round, and Moringa's going to get the first kill. That's nice on to M-King, and they've lost their smoke. You still have over a minute left on the clock. You wanted to add something?
Yeah, and the only way that that attack ever works is if there's some sort of external presence. So, like, for example, an attacker coming from the main lobby stairs that's being completely unmonitored, or very great utilization of the drop downs in general above the defenders. But if that's not the case, and it's usually not the case, then it's just going to be, yeah, that funnel. Anyway, going into this round, 48 seconds to go. It is 4v5. Fontt looking fairly strong. They have established a good crossfire here on Generator, and it looks like they're going to be setting themselves up for a defuse plant. Cameraman actually with the diffuser, as Moringa gets his 2nd kill over by Meeting Hall. Cameraman is actually going away from the closet. He has moved himself over to the window hallway, or the hallway window, which is interesting. With only 25 seconds to go, he now has to cross the hallway instead of just waltzing in. GZN gonna get the first kill for NoX, and then another one from Lifesword onto Cameraman, again exposing himself on seemingly unnecessarily. Hugzord another kill onto Astro, and the attackers are getting torn apart here as Lifesword, a final kill of himself, and then GZN with the last one onto Mav. Well, that was a weird attack from Fontt.
I don't know why they just went in the hallway.
Right,
they seemed to prime themselves up to take the closet and potentially plant in the bunk.
Just like
and then they just decided to plant in the middle of the open, and there was nobody covering Cameraman as that diffuser was going down. And they just got picked apart one by one by one, and even then GZN was playing offsite. So even if you do get that down, you still have the Bandit lurking to come up White Stairs and try to take control. I'm confused.
I don't know. I'm not sure what I just watched, but yeah, no, it was. They had every single part of their attack strategy was working perfectly. They even got 2 unnecessary, hopefully unnecessary roamer kills by Moringa inside of Meeting Hall. They got those early on to the round, and they're like, oh, this is great. We got the man advantage. Let's go ahead and go execute our strategy. And the last 25 seconds, they're like, let's not do that. Let's go over here instead, somewhere we have no cover whatsoever. For no apparent reason, and get torn apart in the hallway in a crossfire. Yeah, that's all I saw. And they're going to do this again, by the way. This is one of the reasons that they almost lost a round a while back, if you recall, because they opened up the closet instead of just leaving it reinforced. It didn't lend them any maneuverability as the defenders, And if it weren't for Mav, they would have lost that round because the attackers simply waltzed in through the hole that Fontt made and planted the diffuser. They didn't even need to use a thermite. But, yeah, no, it was kind of a bit of a throw from Fontt on that last round, man. I'm still getting over that one.
Yeah, I'm not exactly certain what they were trying to, and they didn't even try to conceal it with any smokes or anything along those lines. It was just a straight hallway plan, and it's like, are you not expecting them to push out, or are you not expecting them to maybe even peek around a corner? Because the moment they do, they're going to see you, and you have no real cover because there were no crossfire opportunities from Fontt.
The confusing thing, and I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, you're harping on it, guys, but the confusing thing is that their execution, Fontt's execution, was really
perfect.
Good.
Really good.
It was the definition of a perfect Armory master take. They got the roamers downstairs completely off the picture, means no C4 from below, underneath generator. Then they had the wall open. They had control on a crossfire between the main hallway window and the closet itself. So it would have been very easy to walk in and get the defuse plant, but they just like didn't finish it. They kind of like started writing a book that was really, really good, and then they're just like, we're just gonna leave it here. Anyway, it's all happened. It's past tense. A minute has gone into this round. NoX is taking very slowly here, but they are taking towards the Master Armory, so it's going to be the same attack strat we've seen pretty much every time on this floor from both teams. Astro's still inside of the tower, and NoX still not focusing on Astro early on. Now, that stands to reason, arguably, because Astro actually hasn't been doing anything from that tower to counteract this NoX push. The last time he was there, he did get eliminated. He was the first person to die in the round, so it's all right. It's understandable that NoX is not going to be clearing him out, but it could still bite them in the butt late moving forward, as there's a lot of opportunity for Astro, and that's the thing that you really need to not let the defenders have is opportunity. Seiya's just waiting for it. He knows.
He looks away, too, at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And Astro is able to get that a slow peek, but is Seiya going to look? Seiya has now gone back, and that pair of 308 is going to miss those first bout of shots. Will Astro dare to peek again? He's tempting him. He's tempting the Capitao, and he's going to peek from another angle. Astro, a good lean the other way, and he'll finish cleanup. He used the pistol in place, and now you can see GZN will breathe in some of those toxic bags. And the flash is going down. Hugzord inside, disoriented, hit by that concussion mine, looking for a safe space to begin the plan on that diffuser. M King is going to be able to get one as Gohan refrags on Hugzord. I don't know what Moringa threw his smoke the wrong way, and now Gohan's going to jump in. GZN falls. MK gets his second before going down to Cameraman. A 3v1 is Leipzord far and away. 20 seconds. It's going to be an absolute mission to pick up that diffuser, as all eyes will be on him from that mirror window as well. Gohan knows his position and gets another kill for him. Leipzord falls, and Fontt takes a round very convincingly.
Pretty decisive one, yeah. And what was that attack strategy from NoX? It was, let's vault in through that west window. Let's get them. Come on, boys. And then there was Capitao lingering on the balcony between tower and the main hallway. I'm not sure what his strategy was. I think he was supposed to provide disruption from behind. I think what he had to have been, his plan had to have been, okay, I am going to smoke off the main hallway. I am going to smoke off the top of white. I am going to fire the top of white. I am going to fire arrow the big dorm's bedroom door, because that's where Gohan, by the way, that's where Gohan peeked out and got 2 kills onto the people vaulting in through west lobby or west window. So if Seiya on that Capitao had been alive in that attack strategy, been able to utilize his own disruption, then that could have been a drastically different round. I mean, imagine that. Okay, you're vaulting in through that hallway window. You put a smoke on the main hallway to your left to deny any potential for the roamers to kill you as you vault in. Then you smoke over by the top of white stairs, so neither can the Gohan can neither use his smokes to counteract the west lobby push, nor can he even peek around the bomb, and he also can't kill you as you vault in, and then you fire arrow top of white stairs to double up on that, and then you fire arrow the doorway that Gohan was peeking from. Now the only way the attackers can pressure you is directly from the mirror window, and that's not necessarily the best way to deal with somebody who's going to be also smoking in from the west window and throwing in Cadelos to just kind of plant.
Right.
So that's the idea that we saw there from NoX, and it's a cool strat. I like that, but it was when you lost Seiya, because you didn't clear out the tower. Okay, listen. If you're going to be applying pressure to the north side of the building at any context, whether it be from the balcony or the windows, you have to take out tower first.
And I don't even think if Astro took any damage as well from the Capitao.
Nope.
Like it didn't.
I mean,
it
Astro
didn't
played
look
that well.
way. He did play it very well. He came up, he corner peeked the other way, not expecting him, and that's one of the pitfalls of being prone, though. Too, you know, you see a lot of players. They'll default when they're first starting the game. Oh, prone is advantageous, etc. The issue is yeah, it makes your head a little bit harder to hit because your feet first. You might be able to absorb some damage faster, and if you can get a shot or two, beneficial. But it also means that you're not mobile, and that's when you saw Astro went under the cover of that pop-up, and he knows exactly where you are because you haven't moved, you're not strafing, you're not on your feet. It makes you a much easier target to hit, and it was a very easy frag for him to get.
You know the worst thing about prone, though, is like on the note, you're not mobile, so most of the time you're not. Most of the time your head's either, it's like behind you or in front of you, right? And it's a really static target. But sometimes you'll get that like breakdancing thing where you're going between like being forward and then front and then back. And it is so difficult to hit the head when that's happening.
Right.
Just as like a note. That wasn't happening though for Sayup. So unfortunately that wasn't the case, and it didn't work to his advantage in that way.
Yeah, he wasn't breakdancing as Capitao.
Yeah, no. But as this round plays out, Fontt very clearly here going for a red tower construction take. Yet again, this seems to be the primary focus for both teams. We have seen Fontt do a main lobby drop down take, but it was unsuccessful because they didn't put enough emphasis on the roam game. So this attack, the cool thing about it is self-contained, and it devoids the roam game of any presence.
And they did not make the same mistake of not coming with a mirror. They are well prepared now. But Gohan going prone is going to make his shot. That's something that you can see from going prone as he takes out Sword, and the mirror is down a C4 off the table too, and now he will begin his push through construction. From above, Mav will lord over that hatch and begin his push to prime a grenade to look over top of that bomb. But before he can get it off, a good play by Hugzord, but the grenade still goes out, and from the grave, Saya goes down to give us a 3v4 if you're NoX, but they will equalize. Hugzord and now GZN getting in on the action. It's Cameraman and Fontt, or Cameraman and Astro, but Hugzord a great play, and now it's just Cameraman disoriented, gonna try to pick off Hugzord, can't do it. A great round from the Ela, and we are all tied up. They cannot shake them. A very different look from what we saw on Bank when Hugzord just left uncontested at that bomb site, and it really hurts Fontt.
0 disruption put onto Hugzord, and that's it. That's all that round was too. Like, there was nothing else to it. Everything else for Fontt was going great. They cleared out the meeting hall, they cleared out the tower, they cleared out the construction itself, they opened up construction into bunker, they started their push, and then, oh, look at that, there's a Hugzord proning next to box, and you don't have anything to disrupt his hold. You don't have flashbangs, you don't have grenades. You used both of them, but they were not onto the Ela. The flashbang hit on the far side of the box, not blinding anybody. And then the grenade went way too deep. Sure, it killed someone, but not the one person that mattered. So, would have been cool to see like a smoke. You know, he had a smoke there. Sure, he has 50 bullets, and sure, he can spam through the angle. But, you know, at least you're going to have some sort of disruption. Maybe you can even get in and get the defuse plant. Ultimately, though, they just need to get rid of Hugzord. That's it. Again, Hugzord really putting in a lot of work for his team. That's a great job there by him. Congratulations to NoX, by the way, to actually keep this going for themselves, 3-3. But just a little bit of an oversight from Fontt is all it really took.
And Hugzord has now had 2 very clutch rounds to ensure that his team is sticking to the fight, which is wonderful and something that they're going to need, because having those clutch plays in the dying minutes is integral, especially when you're going up against a team like Fontt that usually has established some form of crossfire and is now going to look to defend themselves as they sit in the basement. And NoX already just pushing right in. Astro's going to get picked away by Saya. What a great shot on him inside of Kitchen. And now Mav refrags, so the rush isn't really working out. A ton of action, and already the diffuser is going down. Sword picks off Cameraman, and now just 7 seconds to go. Fontt has completely conceded control of that site, and there's only 3 of them left versus the 4 attackers. This is a great push from NoX so far, and it's going to really be an uphill battle as now Moringa goes down to GZN, and the Ela and Valkyrie combo for Fontt is going to need to work against the 4 attackers who have complete site control. Sword from around the corner, out-duels Gohan. Right now he walks in, he gets GZN, but immediately traded, and Hugzord with the final kill onto Mav. I can't believe they just let NoX walk right in and get the kill.
So we were talking last map about how Fontt was capitalizing on the fact that NoX put too much emphasis on the top floor when they defended Archives and just walking in through Square and right into Archives with no direct challenge, getting the defuse plant, and that was the round. Same thing's happening here with the other team now. NoX Gaming finally putting it on match point, putting themselves in a distinct advantage, and I think this is the first time. This is, in fact, the first time that they have had a lead in this entire series. Very good job for them on the recovery, but I have to say, what's going on with Fontt? Because it's just been a lot of mistakes over and over again. In this instance, not enough emphasis on the actual site.
They played an extremely strong roam game there, and I don't think they were anticipating NoX just storming the gates and being able to get the defuse up. We saw within 25 seconds of the round, not only did NoX have 2 frags, but they were also beginning the defuse plant. That is an enormous problem for Fontt. Astro was the vanguard up top. He gets taken out. The rest of the team now needs to try to regain that site, and that's a tall order to do. And it was a really unconventional play. I honestly didn't think that NoX had the wherewithal to pull such a brazen attack on Fontt when Fontt has played so aggressively and been able to win those gun battles. But you know what? You can't really win those gun battles if you're caught off guard by a rush from the attackers.
I mean, on that note, it's clear that NoX is not letting their deficit really get to them. Their mentality they've been able to maintain is honestly impressive in this match, considering that they only just recently started winning rounds. I think it's now 4 rounds in a row for NoX, I want to say. No, excuse me. It is 2 rounds in a row for NoX, but in general, it's just been like a tight back and forth here, as opposed to what we were having previously, which was just constant dominance from Fontt. And honestly, whoa, what a run out there from GZN. It will be reciprocated. Gohan in a position to get the refrag, but despite that fact, they have now lost one of their hard destructors. Now, luckily, Fontt is, in my opinion, I gotta give them props, by the way. I gotta give Fontt props on this. They are a smart team. They very commonly tend to bring a Thermite and a Hibana. So they don't want to lose all of their potential when they lose one of the hard destructors. And they will actually get another kill on Seiya, who's playing at the top of the tower. Good, and another kill by Mav. And it's a 2-on-4 now. Too much aggression from NoX. Unfortunately, is going to put them in a desperate position now moving forward in this round. But hey, yeah, no, hard destructors. Yeah, Fontt has, they bring 2 hard destructors. Isn't that cool?
Very fortunate that they ran the Thermite in addition to the Hibana, because take a look at how this round plays out.
Yep.
If you prioritize the fact that, yes, GZN did technically lose his life, but he was still able to take down probably the most important person on that team if Hibana is their load hard destructor, because you don't have any other breaching power on those reinforced walls, but they have the backup in Cameraman running the Thermite, which we've actually seen Cameraman run a lot of thus far.
So on this round, despite it being an actual 2v4, they could actually, NoX, to be specific, could actually easily maintain themselves in this round. Because if they can get a crossfire between Hugzord and King at the top of White Stairs and in Big Kid Storms, we just need Hugzord to get to Big Kid Storms, but if you can maintain that crossfire, then we've actually seen, I think I've personally seen like that exact 2v5, 2v4, 2vx turn out to be a win for the defenders, like dozens of times in Pro League. It's actually really not that difficult if you maintain those 2 specific positions. However, Hugzord going to be kind of just doing his own thing, going downstairs, trying to get some roam kills. And he might be successful here. Maybe the attackers won't expect it, but Mav is going to catch Hugzord's back, going to get a shot down onto him, and now Hugzord has managed to somehow position himself right on top of his teammate and is effectively not really accomplishing anything here. That's really bad. Mav's going to be challenging from the stairs, not expecting Hugzord in the far right corner of the White Stairs, but will hit the shot anyway. Nice headshot there by Mav. King now, the last defender alive, has repositioned. This was smart into the kids' dorms. He's going to be challenging by Moringa in the middle of the hallway. Cameraman going for that plant, and here comes Gohan. Gohan doing his own thing, going to be taken out. That is going to give King an extra opportunity to bring this round back. As the fuse plant comes down, Moringa playing it very safe. Mav as well, playing safe angles far away from the clutches of that SMG-11 and shotgun combo. Even Cameraman all the way out by pallets. It's going to be very difficult from King. Actually, great use of the smokes there, but not enough as Moringa challenges in the main hallway.
There was no way in time or space that M. King was going to be able to take that diffuser. You had the Ying watching the sightline. You have Mav in a position to push up, and you have the Thermite not too far away, and Cameraman just positioned to run up to that big window. And when you've got 3 operators left, there's no way you're going to be able to do that unless you're going to be long-arming the diffuser on Porter.
Oh boy. Anyway, moving forward now, we have 4-4. So, Got that sick overtime. Good job to Fontt there, putting it into that overtime, not letting it get to a third map just yet. Maybe going to lock it out here. They have been seemingly very stronger as of late. However, that last round, I would honestly credit to NoX being way too aggressive on the roam game.
Absolutely.
That presence in the tower, the run out over on the cafeteria, unnecessary. In a word, unnecessary. And now, giving that opportunity back to Fontt. Gohan there, you could see 12 kills, really stepping up for his team.
Hugzord has been such a consistent player so far on Oregon, and this has been a presence that was missed on Bank 2.
They had no presence on Bank.
Whatsoever.
Yeah.
And now if they're able to push into a third map, if Hugzord can really keep this up, because there have been 2 rounds at minimum that should not have been won if it wasn't for Hugzord, and without him, this game is over. So, with that said, the rest of the team does need to become a bit more consistent with their potential and their helpfulness. I know that we've said before that just because you are top fragging doesn't mean that you were the sole reason, but I think that there were 2 rounds specifically that Hugzord is directly responsible for. On
that last round, right? Gohan going against the smoke. He's got 12 kills, but he just blitzkrieged in there, and he was basically throwing.
He played for the team.
He's not. Well, no, he wasn't playing for the team. He was playing for himself. He was trying to get frags.
I would argue
it was a
that
1 versus 4, and he's like, yeah, let's rush him after the defuse plan.
Well, the defuse hadn't gone down at the time, so I actually think that it was a smart play, because if you get the smoke to peek around that corner, you pressured him, it tied up.
The pressure is smart, yes, but still at the same time, I mean, the defuse plant was going down. He could have just maintained a cover with the rest of his teammates. Either way, tying into that conversation about, frags don't necessarily make a team player is the main highlight that I was trying to go for there. But yeah, you could argue for the pressure. That is a sensible thing to say. At the same time, that defuse plant was going down. It was happening.
My only worry is that SMG-11 through the mattress, which is, of course, a penetrable surface. It's one of those things where if you're not applying that pressure and you hear that going off, it's pretty standard as to know where that defuse is going to be coming.
If he had a Valkyrie camera that was watching it, he could have clutched that out, in theory. But unfortunately, he didn't have that information from his team, so that wasn't happening.
Or a pulse underneath, too, but then, of course, he was the last one
roam
left.
Clear, Mav in the cafeteria. He was so efficient. Fontt, in general, was efficient with the roam clear, but it was kind of just because NoX handed it to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know Mav was all the way over in cafeteria, so even if you have that pulse, he's not going to be able to play underneath him. It would have been cool, though. I mean,
a 1v3 clutch?
If NoX had, well, of course, that
those are always great.
But if NoX had played a more conservative roam game, it would have been a 1v3. Is what I was trying to say. I mean, anyway, all that aside, this round, ladies and gentlemen, NoX has established themselves inside of the armory. They got that Blackbeard on the long angle, cutting off the 2 sights, or cutting it right down the middle, essentially. And Fontt does have still a very prominent roam game, and not as many anchors as I would expect, but there's only 53 seconds to go. So with the roamers all still being alive, even once the push comes out from NoX, despite there not being as many anchors, I don't think that's going to really matter too much, as the retake is going to be easy to time. Less time in the round, the more sensible it becomes to start to come back to the bomb site as a roamer.
Well, GZN will have some damage done to him, but he will persist inside of that addict. As Astro gets leadoff kill onto MK, the Blackbeard is down, and only a Spectre. What a toss from Cameraman! He takes Hugzord and Leipzord, the 2-Zord combo, and Astro now eliminates what little was left of GZN before finally Saya is able to get his team on the board, but maybe too little too late. A nice shot onto Astro from Saya, and there's only 3 left for the defense. He's going to need an ace clutch, but Gohan says, no, sir. Fontt moves to match point, and we are 1 round away from this potentially being over.
So while we've seen some great things from NoX so far in this map, that last round, they're attacking in through the army. They're attacking in through the master, right? But they're also placing an emphasis on the roamers, yet the emphasis on the roamers is half-hearted. They aren't really focusing on it as a whole team, as a unit. It's not cohesive. It's just kind of like, hey, you and you go hunt roamers. And they were hopefully unsuccessful. They didn't really get any, they didn't accomplish anything on that roam hunt. So when the pressure started to come in towards the bomb site, the anchors, I mean, the master closet wasn't even open, I don't think. So, like, once the pressure started coming into the bomb site, what are they challenging? They're challenging the main hallway. That's it. That's all they're really trying to focus on in that attack, and that is the easiest bottleneck to hold on that entire bomb site, I would say. And it really showed there in that round. Then, after the bottleneck was held, the roamers started to come back to the bomb site because, again, there were only, 30 seconds in the round at that point. And it's like, yeah, of course, as a roamer, when there's 30 seconds, you're going to start coming back. And then it was a pretty easy collapse for Fontt. Not really much to say there, to be honest. Oh, and that C4 catch.
It was a beautiful, beautiful toss, and it denied their ability to establish themselves in a position that would deny the defense from rotating too, and were able to take control of those dorms. A heck of a toss, and really that, with pardon the pun, it blew the round wide open in favor of Fontt. And now, NoX will go downstairs. They've been favoring this Legion an awful lot, and I'd like your thoughts on not necessarily whether it's a smart idea, but what they're trying to accomplish with the fact that I believe this is the second time they've now gone into the basement with a Legion on their team.
Last time they didn't have a mirror, though. Last time, instead of the mirror, I'm not entirely sure what they brought, but it was the Legion who actually ended up replacing the mirror. And they did win that hold. It was actually the first round I think they won, but it was still, they were hard pressed to do so, and it came down to a clutch from
I believe that was Hugzord.
Yeah, it was Hugzord
who got the clutch. That was incredible. I wonder, you've heard some teams say that maybe if you stack many goo traps on white stairs, it just acts as like a perpetual impediment.
The only way is to play Legion that I've heard of in the Pro League is exactly that. Just like, hey, find a lane that the attackers go into.
Just code it.
Code it, exactly. Like on Cafe, White Hallway, you know, if you don't have to think about White Hallway, that's great. You know, that really is a big alleviation for the hold in general. It means you could put somebody else on one of the other common angles. But yeah, I don't know about Legion. I mean, I don't know many other teams that really put much emphasis on him in this current meta. I feel like he's just not as useful as people are giving him credit to being in this level of play. But that all aside, Fontt now has opened up the main lobby drop down. They are seemingly going for a mix-up strat, something different, because the last time they went over to the construction, they got torn apart by Hugzord, and this time they're like, all right, we'll just, yeah, we'll go back over here. We'll just do a smoke Candela strategy and get the defuse plan in the middle of the main lobby drop.
And we're finally going to be able to see Fontt employ that Candela smoke strategy. We haven't really seen it in earnest right now on the main lobby, and we'll see how successful it is as it makes its debut today. You can hear all of those projectiles going off, and now NoX is in a dangerous position as they try to watch those plant. The diffuser, unbeknownst to us, goes off, but cameraman still goes down, so they have an opportunity to retake the site. But King gets lead-off kill, and it's going to be tough for the defense, but they are in much better position now than they were 5 to 10 seconds ago. Gohan will watch the stairs as Leipzord inches up. Gohan, an easy shot. That'll be his, what, his 13th, his 14th, and he waits. Astro and Mav adding to that as Saya. Now Gohan another, and what a play! Fontt goes to the playoffs, and they move NoX into the losers match. And they await the winner of Encore versus Ints in just over an hour.
An extremely decisive execution there from Fontt. There wasn't much challenge put up by NoX. I love the use of the utility overall on that round. Using the Ash flashbangs in an actual meaningful way, I like that. They opened up the wall next to the mirror window so it was easy to hook. Wow, 16 kills from Gohan. Jeez.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, that is. So they use the Ash flashbangs in a meaningful way, which is opposed to most teams, which would just be like, yeah, I'll throw your flashbangs somewhere if you want to use them for individual play. But they were like, no, we'll open up the wall next